Hello, dear friends. It's difficult to find the science of mystery topic every day, but thanks to the help I receive from time to time from my friends, I try to decipher every day one of the many enigmas that exist in this unknown world. Opinion piece. The world's oldest PC. The Antikythera mechanism decoded. Rebuilt by University College London. It was the world's first analog computer, used to predict the position of the planets. Classical astronomy originated in Babylonia. Cicero spoke of machines built by Archimedes. Elon Musk plans to colonize Mars questioned. Zuckerberg promises to create a teleportation device. Apple, Microsoft and Google work on augmented reality. Bitcoin renews all-time high by surpassing $60,000. Starvation is massively killing the iconic Florida manatee. Perseverance rover has photographed a penguin hatchling on Mars. Perseverance captures a penguin on Mars or on Devon Island in Canada? That's the question. Let's start. Researchers at University College London have finally cracked the secret of the Antikythera mechanism, the oldest computer in history. In 1901, fragments of a mysterious artifact were discovered at the bottom of the Aegean Sea. More than a century later, scientists finally managed to unveil how it worked. The complex piece of engineering, dubbed the Antikythera mechanism, was used by the ancient Greeks to predict the positions and eclipses of the sun, moon, and other celestial bodies, and is in fact the first analog computer in history. A team of researchers from University College of London has used three-dimensional X-rays to shed light on the workings of the curious machine. Lead author of the study, Professor Tony Frith, explained in a statement that his team managed to create the first model that fits all the physical evidence and matches the descriptions of the scientific descriptions engraved on the mechanism itself. During the study, the British researchers assembled a puzzle of 82 fragments. The Antikythera mechanism looks like a clock and features 30 bronze years that have survived to the present day. It was also used to calculate the phases of the moon and even the dates of the Olympic Games. The 82 pieces do not represent the mechanism in its entirety, as only about a third of the mechanism has survived. The largest surviving fragment of the device, called Fragment A, has several bearings, pillars and block. Another piece, christened Fragment D, is equipped with a disc as 63-tooth gear and a plate. First computer in the world. This ancient Greek astronomical calculator, known to many as the world's first analog computer, is the most complex piece of engineering to survive from the ancient world. The 2,000-year-old device was used to predict the positions of the sun, moon, and planets, as well as lunar and solar eclipses. The information researchers found on the Antikythera mechanism about eclipses is surprisingly detailed. Since this artifact was found in Greece more than a century ago, scientists were baffled. It was among the wreckage of a Roman-era shipwreck some 2,000 years ago. and it was incomplete. It was 1/3 of a complex system of years that was manually operated and had some inscriptions on it. The back of the mechanism was reconstructed through earlier studies, but the nature of its complex gear system at the front remained a mystery. It is believed that the ancient Greek device was manually operated and was used to predict eclipses and other astronomical events. Scientists at University College London believe they have finally solved the puzzle using 3D computer models. The researchers recreated the entire front panel and now hope to build a full-scale replica of the Antikythera mechanism using modern materials. Drawings published in scientific reports. The study reveals a new visualization of the ancient Greek order of the universe, called cosmos, within a complex system of years on the front of the mechanism. Lead author professor of mechanical engineering Tony Frith explained in a statement, "Ours is the first model that fits all the physical evidence and matches the descriptions of the scientific descriptions engraved on the mechanism itself. The sun, moon and planets are shown in a stunning tour de force of ancient Greek brilliance." The mechanism has been described as an astronomical calculator and also as the world's first analog computer. It is made of bronze and includes dozens of years. The information researchers found on the Antikythera mechanism about eclipses is surprisingly detailed. The back features a description of the cosmos, showing the motion of the 5 planets that were known at the time of the device was built. But only 82 fragments survived, which amount to about 1/3 of the device. That means scientists have had to reconstruct its entire composition using X-ray data and an ancient Greek mathematical method. Discovery. The Antikythera mechanism has generated both fascination and intense controversy since its discovery on a Roman-era shipwreck in 1901 by Greek sponge divers near the small Mediterranean island of Antikythera, a beautiful island, by the way. The Astronomical Calculator is a bronze device consisting of a complex combination of 30 surviving bronze years used to predict astronomical events, including eclipses, phases of the moon, positions of the planets, and even dates of the Olympic Games of Antiquity. While much progress has been made over the last century to understand how it worked, studies in 2005 using X-ray, 3D, and surface imaging allowed researchers to show how the mechanism predicted eclipses and calculated the variable motion of the moon. So far, however, a complete understanding of the gear system at the front of the device has eluded researchers' best efforts. Only about 1/3 of the mechanism has survived, and it is divided into 82 fragments, creating a daunting challenge. The largest surviving fragment, known as Fragment A, shows features of bearings, pillars, and a block. Another, known as Fragment D, features an unexplainable disk of a 63-tooth gear and a plate. Previous research has used X-ray data from 2005 to reveal thousands of text characters hidden within the fragments and read for nearly 2,000 years. The inscriptions on the back cover include the descriptions of the cosmos display, with the planets moving in rings and indicated by marker breadths. It was this display that the team worked to reconstruct. Two critical numbers on the X-ray cover, 462 years and 442 years, accurately represent the cycles of Venus and Saturn, respectively. When observed from Earth, the cycles of the planets sometimes reverse their motions against the stars. Experts must track these variable cycles over long periods of time to predict their positions. Classical astronomy. Classical astronomy of the first millennium before Christ originated in Babylon, but nothing in this astronomy suggested how the ancient Greeks found the highly accurate 462-year cycle from Venus and the 242-year cycle from Saturn, explained physical doctor candidate and team member Aris Dakanalis. Using an ancient Greek mathematical method described by the philosopher Parmenides of Elea, the team not only explained how the cycle of Venus and Saturn were derived, but also managed to recover the cycles of all the other planets where evidence was missing. Physical doctor candidate and team member David Higgum explained, in quotes, "After considerable struggle, we managed to match the evidence in fragments A and D with a mechanism from Venus that accurately models its 262-year planetary period relationship, with the 63-tooth year playing a crucial role." Professor Frith added, "The team then created innovative mechanisms for all planets that would calculate the new advanced astronomical cycles and minimize the number of years throughout the system, so that they would fit into the tight spaces available. This is a very theoretical breakthrough on how the cosmos was built in the mechanism," added co-author Adam Vogt. "Now we must demonstrate its feasibility by doing it with ancient techniques. A particular challenge will be the nested tube system that carried the astronomical outputs." Description: the Antikythera mechanism is an analog of mechanical computer for Antiquity. Supposedly built by Greek scientists, the instrument is dated between 150 before Christ and 100 before Christ, or according to a recent observation, about 200 before Christ. The component was recovered in the Aegean Sea between the year 1900 and the next year from an ancient shipwreck near the Greek island of Antikythera. This artifact was apparently designed to predict astronomical positions and the eclipses of up to 19 years for astrological purposes, and also to predict the exact time of 6 ancient Greek contests, including the 4 major Panhellenic games and 2 more minor games. It was to be found housed in a wooden box whose dimensions were 340 by 180 by 90 millimeters. The device is a complex clockwork mechanism composed of at least 30 bronze years. The remains were found as 82 separate fragments, of which only 7 contained important inscriptions or years. The largest year, clearly visible on fragment A, measures approximately 140 millimeters in diameter, and originally had 222 teeth. Extremely complex for that time. It is likely that the Antikythera mechanism was not only the only one, as Cicero's references to these artifacts show. This lends support to the idea that there was a tradition in ancient Greece of complex mathematical technology. mechanical technology. All the recovered fragments of the Antikythera mechanisms are kept in the National Archaeological Museum in Athens. In De Republica, Cicero mentions two machines designed and built by Archimedes, which contemporary analysts consider to be planetary-type mechanisms, predictors of the movements of the moon, the sun, the main known planets, and eclipses. These machines came into the possession of the Roman consul Marcus Claudius Marcellus after the Siege of Syracuse in 212 before Christ. The expansion of this technology was interrupted at some point in antiquity, and technological artifacts approaching the complexity and skill of construction of this instrument didn't appear again until 1,600 years later, when the development of astronomical clocks began in Europe around the 14th century. Discovery. The Antikythera mechanism was discovered 45 meters underwater near Glyphadia, one of the Greek islands of Antikythera. The ancient wreck was found in April 1900 by a group of sponge divers who recovered several artifacts, including bronze and marble statues, pottery, glassware, jewelry, coins, and the mechanism itself. The finds were sent to the National Archaeological Museum in Athens for analysis and storage. The mechanism went unnoticed for 2 years as a corroded lamp of bronze and wood until the museum team began to piece together the more obvious parts of the mechanism. On May 17, 1902, when archaeologist Valerius Stais was examining the remains, he noticed that one of the rock pieces had an embedded gear. Stais initially believed that it was an astronomical clock, but most of the team believed that the instrument was too technologically advanced and too complex to have been built at the same time as the rest of the pieces found. Research was abandoned until the instrument came to the attention of Derek John de Sola Price in 1951. In 1971, Price and the nuclear physicists named Charalampos Karakalos analyzed the 82 fragments with X-rays and gamma rays. Price published a lengthy 70-page paper on the results in 1974. How the mechanism got onto the ship is unknown, but it has been proposed that the instrument was planned to be taken to Rome with the rest of the booty for the celebration of Julius Caesar's triumph. Archaeology. A perfectly preserved 3,000-year-old Norse Bronze Age sweat discovered in Denmark. During archaeological survey work carried out in connection with the construction of the Baltic gas pipeline on the Danish island of Funen, researchers from the Odense Museum discovered a 3,000-year-old sweat in an excellent state of preservation. The weapon is suspected to have been part of an offering, belongs to the 4th period of the Norse Bronze Age, and has been considered a rarity by Jasper Hansen, chief curator of the museum, as not only because of its age, but also because of its extraordinary state of preservation. Teleportation. Mark Zuckerberg promises to create by 2030 a device with which it will be possible to teleport. He also shared his vision for the development of digital technologies in the near future. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg said Monday in an interview with the digital magazine The Information that by 2030 people could use smart glasses to ensure their virtual presence anywhere. Facebook will invent glasses that can display graphic content along with the real world throughout transparent screens. This could lead to a lot of amazing things. Instead of calling someone, having a video conference in the blink of an eye, you teleport and you are sitting there and they are on their couch and everyone feels like they were together, the billionaire explained. Thus, the creation of avatars could revolutionize human communication. This invention could contribute to the reduction of travel for business of pleasure. Obviously, cats and planes and all that won't go away, but the more we can teleport, the better it will be for society and for the planet in general, Zuckerberg pointed out. According to his point of view, another advantage consists in the possibility of expanding the remote work mode for employees, reducing the time and cost of daily travel, because it will be possible to just teleport work. Currently, major technology companies such as Apple, Microsoft and Google are working on augmented reality technology, which involves the interconnection between computer-generated graphics and real-world images. Facebook is involved in the development of virtual reality headsets throughout the company Oculus, acquired in 2014. Astronautics. The Perseverance rover has photographed a penguin hatchling. The strange shape was detected by the famous ufologist Scott Z. Believes that the little creature could be a kind of Martian exotic bird, or definitive evidence that the photo was taken on Devon Island in Canada, where researchers test equipment for the red planet, and in fact there is a large colony of penguins. SpaceX launches another 60 Starlink satellites aboard Falcon 9. SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket launched Sunday to put a new batch of 60 Starlink mini-satellites into orbit. The launch of this new group of satellites took place at 10 o'clock GMT from the John F. Kennedy Space Center, Florida. This is the ninth mission for the Falcon 9, whose first stage has successfully landed on the floating platform in the Atlantic called Of Course I Still Love You. That's the name. The 60 Starlink satellites will join SpaceX fleet of more than 1,200 satellites already in low Earth orbit since launches began. Elon Musk's plans to colonize Mars questioned. British astronomer Matthew Rees stressed that housing populations in glass domes on the red planet would be comparable to living in hostile environments such as the South Pole or Mount Everest. Elon Musk's plans to send humans to Mars to settle there for the long term are a dangerous delusion, Matthew Rees, a famous British astrophysicist, declared Wednesday during his speech at the World Government Summit held in Dubai, United Arab Emirates. Rees argues that conditions on the red planet are not suitable for a human colony, one of the goals of SpaceX founder Elon Musk, who plans to send 1 million people to Mars by 2050. In turn, in US, astrophysicists Neil deGrasse Tyson, who has Rees' interlocutor during the summit, pointed out that in order to have a comfortable life on Mars, people will have to come back to Earth. He also explained that settling on another planet to save oneself from a possible catastrophe on Earth is unrealistic at this time. According to the scientist, under current conditions, it is easier for mankind to prevent the catastrophe itself than to try to create acceptable conditions on Mars. However, Tyson urged to support young people for whom space is a source of inspiration. SpaceX is currently developing a transportation system to send satellites, crews, and cargo to Mars. The mystery of the formation of a 1,800 kilometer long Martian cloud is solved. A team of scientists affiliated with the European Space Agency has succeeded in understanding how a strange elongated ice cloud is formed. This meteorological phenomenon appears annually around the southern solstice of Mars and disappears in a matter of 2.5 hours. Researchers have just released a stunning photo of the 1,800 kilometers long cloud taken by the Natural Monitoring Camera installed on the Mars Express spacecraft. The tubular cloud forms and fades daily, repeating the cycle for about 80 days or more during the Martian year, which lasts about 687 Earth days. It extends from Arsia Mons volcano to Olympus Mons. Large Neutrino Observatory opens at the bottom of mysterious Lake Baikal to help understand how the universe works. One of the world's largest neutrino telescopes, the Baikal GVD, located at the bottom of Russia's Lake Baikal, was launched Saturday. This unique observatory will focus on detecting sources of these subatomic particles and studying the evolution of galaxies and the universe. The clearest case of a moving massive black hole detected. Supermassive black holes are usually stationary at the center of their galaxies, but scientists believe they can also wander throughout space, as in fact one located 230 million light years from Earth does. Politics. Trump sported in a smaller than normal plane. Even before he became president, Donald Trump had a larger than average private plane, and in fact displayed it frequently during his presidential campaign as he moved from state to state. However, it seems that his famous Boeing 757 with the characteristic letter T on the tail, to make it clear who owns the aircraft, has been replaced by a luxurious executive jet but considerably less opulent, a Cessna Citation X. Watergate whistleblower John Dean says it's a matter of days until Trump is indicted. Excuse me. Manhattan District Attorney Cyrus Vance Jr., a Democrat, is conducting a wide-ranging investigation into Trump's family business. Former Nixon White House lawyer John Dean said on Twitter Thursday that the former president would soon be indicted amid reports that his ex-lawyer Michael Cohen reportedly met with the Manhattan District Attorney's Office for the 7th time as part of an investigation into Trump's family businesses and finances for alleged fraud. I mean, the lawyer, not the lawyer of Trump, but another lawyer, the lawyer of Nixon, the lawyer of Nixon. Democrats and Republicans blame each other for the border surge. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi admitted there is a humanitarian challenge at the border, but dismissed it as a crisis per se, as crowds of illegal immigrants crossed the US-Mexico border, while a Republican senator said it is the fault of the current administration. Bolivia's former de facto president Yanin Áñez arrested. Bolivia's former de facto president Yanin Áñez was arrested Saturday by authorities in Trinidad, capital of the department of Beni, as part of the arrest warrant against her for the case of the alleged coup d'état perpetrated in November 2019 against former President Evo Morales. The news was confirmed by the Minister of Government Eduardo del Castillo through his Twitter account. In quotes, "I informed the Bolivian people that Mrs. Yanin Áñez was already being apprehended and at this moment is in the hands of the police," he wrote. Following her apprehension, Áñez denounced that she has been a victim of abuse and political persecution. UN and EU called for transparency in proceedings against the former Bolivian government. United Nations and European Union authorities called for transparency in the legal proceedings against officials of the former Bolivian government following the arrest of former transitional president Yanin Áñez. Russia could be the winner in a nightmare World War III scenario by capturing northern Europe and blocking NATO's counterattack. An all-out war in northern Europe could see Russian troops isolate Baltic nations, delaying NATO forces from coming to their aid and securing a foothold in the region, says a new analysis by Sweden's Defense Research Agency. Economy. Gold loses its hedging value. Gold is not at its best. It's no longer effective as a hedge against stock market movements and inflation. It also faces downside risk from the post-pandemic economic recovery, warns Russ Koesterich, a portfolio manager at investment firm BlackRock. The precious metal's ability to protect investors from inflation, according to the expert, has been somewhat overstated, while it remains a reasonable long-term store of value. It is less reliable over most investment horizons, Koesterich notes in a publication cited by Bloomberg. Despite the recent rebound, the bullion price has declined so far in 2021 as the economic recovery gains more traction and US bond yields rise. However, this doesn't mean that investors need to dump gold. On the contrary, keeping it in the portfolio along with other assets help to balance the ups and downs of other securities, especially stock prices. Right now, the gold metal doesn't work well as a hedge against the rate of inflation, although it did against the dollar. The ounce continues to demonstrate a strong inverse relationship with the US currency. By the close of trading of March 12th, the gold prices was trading at $1,728.16 an ounce, down nearly 30% from January 5th, when it was worth $1,951.34. Meanwhile, among the benchmark indexes, the S&P Standard & Poor's 500 has gained nearly 4% in 2021. The price of Bitcoin, the world's most popular cryptocurrency, renewed its all-time high by rising to $600 yesterday, Saturday. According to the cryptocurrency exchange platform Binance, at 11:29 GMT, the Bitcoin was up 5.77% to 6,104. In turn, data from the CoinMarketCap portal, which calculates the average price of cryptocurrency on more than 20 exchange platforms, indicated that at 11:33 GMT, the Bitcoin was up 7.08% to 59,952. The rise of the world's most popular cryptocurrency accelerated after the US electric vehicle manufacturer Tesla invested a total of $1.5 billion in Bitcoin on February 8th as part of its new monetary policy. Later, several financial institutions such as card company MasterCard, US bank BN Mellon and transaction company PayPal announced that they plan to include digital currencies in their operations. F-35 fighters are running the UK Army. Lord Richard Dunnett, former UK Chief of Staff from the years 6 to 9, said that the purchase of F-35B fighters is bleeding the UK military budget. Lord Dunnett indicated that the Ministry of Defence is bankrupted by the F-35B stealth fighters, which cost about 111 million each and up to $125,000 per hour. The costs are now so high that even the US military is starting to look for a cheaper fighter jet. Curious news. Bizarre. Experts praise the nutritional value of water and its minerals. Bottled water has a great variety of minerals that, in addition to covering hydration, needs add nutrients such as calcium, magnesium, and sodium that are as fundamental for the organism as vitamins or lipids, according to Magda Carlas, a doctor and medical communicator. 2 servings of fish a week can help prevent heart disease. An analysis of several large studies with participants from more than 60 countries, led by researchers at McMaster University, Canada, has found that eating oily fish regularly can help prevent cardiovascular disease in people at high risk, such as those already suffering from heart disease or stroke due to omega-3 fatty acids. Starvation is massively killing the iconic Florida manatee. The rapid extinction of sea grasses is causing malnutrition and an unprecedented die of the Florida manatee, a marine mammal that has represented the state since 1975 and contributes to the multi-billion-dollar wildlife industry of this tourist-rich U.S. peninsula. Lack of food has contributed to the death of 432 manatees between January 1st and last March 5th. More than half of the 842 had died during all the 2018. So far, the worst year for this herbivore, according to the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. Japan worshippers braved the burning embers to pray for safety. Japanese worshippers prayed for the safety of themselves and their families Sunday by walking barefoot with Buddhist monks over smoldering embers at an annual festival near Mount Takasoan. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends, and I wish you happiness.